You played on the backing tracks. Very nice. You dig them? Get the check. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay. Sorry, I'm doing the live feed on Facebook and the other one, YouTube. There we go. Thanks for the stars, Paul. How do you like my clap? Hello. Hey, Carl. Any exercises to increase speed and accuracy? Taking like simple shapes and just moving them on the guitar legato. Something I've been fucking with lately. Like just taking a scale and trying to like moving it up the string. With different subdivisions. Do that legato, and you can do a lot of out stuff if you just keep one shape. Like still working on that. I think I'm practicing on getting more legato in my playing. I pick a lot and I'm trying not to. Something that's really cool. If you on our Patreon and on our YouTube, I just interviewed Thomas Dawson. And the last couple of days, I've been trying to work on something he was talking about, which is spacing the notes on the guitar like 2, 1, 2. So you take 2 notes on one string, 1 note on the next string, and 2. Whatever pattern you want, even if it's like this is in D minor, so like D minor pentatonic would look like. Just taking random notes from pentatonic scale and just spacing them that way. But you can do it with bigger intervals, which is cool. So, like, here's an example of some patterns that are like that. Something like that. Oh, that's the end of that track. I'm using a Spark right now because I'm not in my studio. Not the chorus. Yeah, so that's a lot of other players kind of have a weird mix of alternate picking and legato when they play legato. Like Thomas does, like on that 2-1-2 pattern, down, down, up. I just can't do that because I've been sweep picking my whole life. So let's see. Marvin is ableist to baby-fingered capo users. We're literally the opposite. But you can't cancel us on Facebook. We've been canceled already. You can't cancel that was which you've been canceled. just learned this. I'm making like a little series. Hey, Mark, about it's like a Robin Ford thing on a 12-bar blues. And this one fucking pentatonic lick, it was so rad. It was just so good. The lick, it was in B-flat, but like in time, if you think about what it is, his fingerings are awesome. He has awesome tricks. Like a lot of, like the ways. One of his next ones. That's a nice lick. Just like mixing like blues and diminished, but he had this one like this. I just love it. So good, right? But it did it. So it starts on the beat, but check it out on the like in time. Like if I play it, like let's see if the tempo here works. It's all quick on this one, but like so that B flat, so G minor would be like. That's fast. It's quick. I'll do half that line. Right, sick. For the curious, this is it's just G minor pentatonic, but in that fifth minor pentatonic box. But the cool thing is you use the blue note to go up. So you use the blue note to the fifth, sharp four to the five, and then you skip the five on the way down. And you skip the flat at seven on the way down, going to the sixth. And here it's pentatonic. That's kind of the speed he plays it, so he plays it on the shuffle. So it's like... Yes. He has a lot of cool licks in that one, like. Cool licks. Anyways, all right, I'm just gonna play the way I play for a minute. No quotes. Dude, do we have a Patreon? Our Patreon is literally slammed with lessons and transcriptions and all that shit. Just the Marbin, Marbin Patreon. You guys gotta go there. We have a free tier even, but we do Zoom lessons once a month. We do a gear hang. We do everything. That's the place. For sure, join the Patreon, Grant. It's cool. Like we really invest in our community, and we're about to do stuff that because we've been sort of uploading stuff to YouTube. The YouTube's the active part. Facebook, I'm just getting back into now, but been digging your content. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate it. Jeff, your name sounds very familiar. But in any case, so we're gonna start doing like courses that are exclusive to Patreon. So I'm starting to work on. There are things that you can't really do as content because they're too boring and too hard. But you can punish your patrons with hard content. So we're gonna do that because. Yeah, so I want to start doing like guitar patterns, like across patterns in position, because that's kind of like the hardest shit to do on guitar, and it breaks your brain. But nobody's gonna survive that on just normal content. So that's gonna be exclusive to the patrons. Anyways, more shred. I'll check out KSR. That's awesome. I would love to check it out. Yo, Zinny, how you doing, Zinny Jam? Okay. You like the whole tour stuff? Cool. I'm learning some stuff too from that. I'm always curious about amps. How do you develop speed? Um, speed in itself is just not a good goal, because it doesn't. You can't play like if you want to play fast, then you're not thinking rhythmically because there's a lot of ways to play fast. So you got to think about the subdivision you're trying to play, and it's groove specific, right? So that's why it's a great idea to go to our backing track channel. But like, when you're in a practice session, you want to practice a lot of tempos and a lot of types of grooves, because different subdivisions, when you're thinking rhythmically, have an effect on the groove. So when I'm thinking about like a track like this, think about a drummer playing a fill, right? So first of all, locate like. So those slow 16th notes are riding the groove. That's the subdivision that most of the drum rhythm section talking happens on, right? So if you learn how to play there, it's cool, but it doesn't do anything to the music. You're doing the same shit rhythmically that the drums are doing. So if you syncopate a little bit, it gets a little more interesting, but it still doesn't have the effect of fast playing, right? Like syncopating it would be like, maybe doing something like, it doesn't get you the desired effect of like the dazzle. So you got to start thinking about, okay, so if this is my groove, where do I play a fill rhythmically, right? Maybe it's like slow 6/7. Right? But that's still not impressive. The meat live of this tempo, this specific groove lives on this 32nd note grid. So it's like, right? Think about start just by thinking about fills, where a good drummer would play just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So if I'm playing lines, same place. So that was just like playing like a fill at the end of an 8-bar phrase. And then, you can do different things with a fill. And then you kind of extend that to be not just at the tie together ends of phrases, but to actually be the meat of the phrase. So that's one thing. When you get into real fast playing, you got to be able to subdivide different pulse units. So like, for instance, like if I have this tempo, locate the eighth notes. Where are the eighth notes, right? 1, 2, quarter note 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So maybe just learn how to pick those. Go like. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a little finger pattern that chops every eighth note into 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just by going like up, rolling my fingers up and back down, right? But sitting inside those eighth notes. So now I'm playing 10 notes in a beat because I'm taking 2 eighth notes, chopping them up into 5. So essentially, I'm thinking about eighth notes. Scales. So, but think about it like a fill, right? Right, so still put it somewhere in the groove where it fits, right? So now I'm gonna go like. That's how you put like groups of 10. Quicker subdivisions, right? Like if I think about groups of 12, right? So how can I approach 12? So think about big triplets. Pop, 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 So if I know how to play that, I add 4 notes to it, and that's 12, right? Big triplets chopped into 4 pieces. Pop, 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 pop. Right? So it'd be like. Back to drums. Right, it's absurdly fast, but still. Right, when you hear Sean Lane, like that's the subdivisions you're hearing, right? It sounds smeared because, it's that fast. You can think about that as 4 notes chopped into 3s. So if you can find 16 notes. Right? For this tempo, it's a little bit too fast, right? That's the truth about that subdivision. It just starts sounding like, rah, 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 rah. You always want to locate. If you listen to like good Metheny or Brecker solos, or whoever, like Holdsworth solos, they don't play the fastest subdivisions they can on a groove. They play the subdivisions that have the most impact. So it tends to be there always is one. So when, like here, I'll take something in a different groove, right? And a different tempo in a different groove, time field. And you're working with this. So you have to kind of recalibrate aesthetically and ask yourself all over again, what has impact? So those 16th notes in this tempo have way more impact than the other tempo. Like you're going to sound pretty good playing those 16th notes. You know, and it's also people that don't play a lot of fast shit, when they, like, since they build their solos so slowly, um, they have their not so fast line that are just faster than the rest of their shit have more impact, because it's like seeing a fat person running. You know what I mean? Like shit's jagging all the time, and you're like, it's interesting. You like look at them, and you're like, ooh, like when's he gonna stop? Right? It's like there's some drama built into that situation. So like when you hear Chet Baker playing eighth notes, it's like, whoa, it sounds crazy. Or like Schofield playing 16th notes, or Robin Ford playing 16th notes. It's like, they play like 7 of them in a row, and it's just like, whoa, it has impact because it has contrast with the rest of their playing. But like, for me, like if I play some 16th notes after I just played, it's like, who gives a shit? Because there is no contrast. So I have to go deeper, because I can't, I can't help myself but to play fast. So it's a tough situation. Let's see. YouTube seems to lag behind Facebook about 1 second. I don't know why that is. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Mirko, thank you, Marvin, for your amazing channel and content. The videos together with Brett and Thomas, the jazz major at Flat 3, gave me another perspective and depth. Well, you're very welcome. Currently watching the Fusion Chops video with Mr. Dawson. Mr. Dawson is quite good. I'm recording another How to SRV with Mr. Katona on Monday, and another Fusion Chops with Alex Sill on Thursday. Alex is also quite the beast. Hey, Basil, let's go. Yeah. I love this track. played that brewery in Cincinnati with all the sours in the church like a bajillion times. Urban Artifact. And the Wisp when it was around. Yeah, and that shady ass jazz club in your down like in that shady neighborhood. I forget what it's called. What's Ghost Baby? Hey William, are you on our Patreon? I'm dying. Oh, okay. Just trying to work up my legato, dude. I've been sleeping on legato for years, just picking way too much. Trying to get the shit together. value joining the Patreon, there's a download the app because there's a chat feature on the app, and if you have questions about anything, that goes straight to my phone. So like if as you go through the material, if you're like, hey, I keep fucking up this, how do you do it, Danny? And I'll be like, this is how you do it. So that's the advantage. That felt like a long time. Let's do an F minor one.
This holiday, make some noise at
Getting
Guitar
commercial on
Center.
my own.
Get them
Thanks.
strumming with a Yamaha Acoustic Electric. Save $70. Or
Thanks,
start them
Dustin.
off with the Squire Sonic series.
You know, I just replaced the pickups on it. It's a great guitar. It's a great sounding like instrument acoustically. It's there's some things about it I didn't like. I didn't like the wiring. They had like the bridge pickup not hooked up to the tone knob, which is crazy. But I switched the pickups from their pickups to the Sewer Landau pickups that I always used like my entire career, basically. And then this is the Alan Holdsworth like double screw Duncan, which I've had in my PV for like, I don't know, 15 years. And I put it here in the spacing of it. I forgot that it's like Music Man kind of spacing. So it doesn't, the magnets aren't like sitting underneath the strings. So it's, yeah, so, but like it sounds good, but yeah, so I just ordered like a Trambucker, like just a Duncan 59 basically. It's just like a PAF type pickup. Because I don't know, their pickups I found were super awesome with clean sounds, kind of studio LA vibe, like chimey, crystal clear. But when the gain came in, the mids were scooped in such a weird place. You can hear it on all the videos I recorded, basically, because I just got it changed like 2 days ago. So I always was kind of struggling with high gain, and since like for me, it's such a huge part of my style, I have to have something that like is mainly good for high gain. And yeah, so we're like a little bit, I would say too open, like not compressed enough, and like not mid-range forward enough, if that makes sense. Like I really like a mid-rangey sound, but like, you know, but this one sounds awesome now for like, especially clean. It's up. As Tomo Fujita said, frunky. It's frunky. Is the body thinner than the Strat? Yeah, it's a light guitar. It's kind of like a, you know, like a ballsy kind of like 80s Strat thing. It's good practice. I mean, it's always good practice to just practice on less strings than you're comfortable with. Just like I'm choosing one like the B string or something. B flat blues. That's on the Robin 4 challenge. That'll be on. Oh yeah. times with the volume, I think it's just because I'm using these computer speakers and it's freaking them out. I'm not sure how to beat that. Anna or Steve from Chicago Rhythmic. Sick. All right. That's all the backing tracks I've made so far. I'm going to make one in every mode and every key. Hey, Manny Vibes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there's nothing quite like mindlessly shredding for hours. What it does to the brain. Okay, I'm going to play the snow one again. Hey, Tiffany. How you doing? Join our YouTube, join our Patreon. We're there all the time. There's a free tier on Patreon. There's literally no reason not to join. It's free. Just go to patreon.com/Marvin and just join the free tier. How much do you play with? Let's see. Repeat the question. How much do you play with what? I can hear you, but sometimes the tone can sound more or less gamey. And it really is. With the Spark shift that I'm playing right now, everything's like just it's like playing on the pod. It's like super digital and compressed. I think that's like a sound for comping, but like. That's like clean, right? How much gain? That's like on 7. lot, but not like a crazy amount. It's really easy to not, I mean, something happens to your sound that's like super negative and nasty when you kind of go over a certain amount of gain. You want like it's a real fine balance between like sustain and hair, right? You don't want grainy. Like if your sound starts getting hairy and grainy, then you overdid it. So yeah, it's let's see. I really like your SRV video a lot. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Tommy Katona is just, man. He dedicated his life to that shit. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, here's like a little bit of gain, right? What I would consider like not really enough to play a fusion solo. That's like just the gain on this patch, which is pretty gainy to begin with on like 2 or 3. It's like it's fine, you can play some lines, but like it's like a different kind of playing. For me, like I can feel really free with legato playing when there's like a little bit more gain than that. But this kind of gain, if you're like trying to play like stuff like Nuno Bettencourt and people like that, where it's like gain, but it's like legato palm muting stuff. You can get that really percussive, right? All the overtones popping up, kind of thing. Probably a little bit less delay. It's like, to me, the cleaner the sound gets, the less delay you need. Delay. I think this is like the key thing that people that are trying to get a lead sound, like a lead fusion sound, and aren't hacking it, don't understand is the relationship between gain and delay. Because I generally don't use any delay on clean sounds, right? It's like, unless you're going for like a Pink Floyd, like, Run Like Hell kind of thing. I don't like to feel like the notes I just played are sort of chasing me around. But when you're using high gain, it does something where it's kind of like blending the notes together. You got to think about, the best way to think about it is if you look at a guitar track on Pro Tools, if you look at a clean sound on a Strat, the shape of it is like this. You have a big attack and then a quick decay, right? And if you look at gain, it just looks like this worm, right? The start of because it's compressed. So like it squashes the start of the note. And so it's like the compression in the gain makes the attack smaller and then makes the sustain bigger, right? Whereas things taper off kind of quickly with a clean sound. So when you have repeats, right, all delay does is copy that. So when you have repeats on these triangles, you have a lot of these triangles, and they don't, like, every time your kind of signal, is tapering off, you put another one of these triangles, the delay repeats themselves, and it kind of messes with your sound. So like for me, it's like, I feel like it's chasing me around. So the way people get around it is by like getting really dark repeats, right? They EQ the repeats. So tape delay does that. A lot of shit like that does that, to where they change the tone of the repeats to where it's less in your face when you hear them. But when you have these worm kind of sounds, these long sustaining things, the repeats sort of blend into the sustain of the note. So for me, when it's a low gain setting, I hear that those things swimming, but when it's a higher gain setting, the delay actually does this thing where it just makes everything feel longer. Uh, Less or more gain is appropriate for legato. So again, that depends on the kind of legato you're going for. So if you're trying to play something like Nuno Bettencourt stuff, like think about like his any time where he does like this kind of like really percussive, like a lot of, right? So it's like you hear these kind of like you know what I'm talking about, Greg Howe. It's like you hear this. I don't play this way almost ever. It's like this kind of legato playing where it's kind of like ants running in the guitar, but if you crank it, it's super percussive, right? So that's lower gain. Typically, like people will control it from the guitar, right? This sparks just don't roll off well, but you just kind of like get your gain down, your volume knob down to like 6 or 7 with a high gain setting, and you're in the sweet spot of those kind of tones. This is not a great example. Not more gain than that. Like there. Where it's kind of like drummy, right? So that's kind of like the typical, or like any Greg Howe kind of thing. It's like a lower gain thing with legato. That kind of thing, super percussive. So the more gain you play with, the less percussive it gets, the more like violin-like or saxophone-like it gets, up to a point. And then you cross that threshold and you're in sort of Zakk Wylde territory, right? Where it's just a ton of gain and just like ooh, like nonstop ooh with all the, and that's also, there's a kind of a type of playing where it's just a kind of a cloud of like when you just kind of grab the note and make it sing. But yeah, I would say, when you're in high gain territory. So it's like a lot of people kind of conflate overdrive territory with high gain territory. They're different landscapes, right? Stevie Ray Vaughan is overdrive territory. You have like a screaming loud preamp, saturated preamp thing. Alan Hines uses, Alan Hines, he doesn't use so much gain, like his signature pedal, the Soul Driven. Hey Sylvia. So yeah, it's so like Stevie Ray Vaughan's thing is, even though it's an overdriven tone, he's playing the guitar. Oh, we're talking about Alan Hines. So the Soul Driven has like, it's more like a mid boost sound, right? He has like an overdriven amp, but he's just pushing the mids really hard. Like that's what the Soul Driven really does. It adds gain, but it adds a hump to like the center of the mid range, right? It's like 500K, like boom in your face. Guthrie does a very similar thing. So it's not as dirty, but it's kind of like overdriven with a hump where in the place where kind of the fundamentals of the guitar notes get pushed forward. And you get more sustain, less buzziness that way. But like, Stevie Ray Vaughan's technique can translate directly to an acoustic guitar. He plays it like, if you take his overdrive pedal away, he'll play the guitar the same way and get the same thing. Holdsworth, like whenever he gets to record a clean solo, has to kind of fundamentally change the way he touches the instrument. So it's different. Yeah. Well, Holdsworth, no, that's the myth, That's the Holdsworth myth with the pickups. It's not true. All of his, because he had so many guitars, all of his guitars, like when you look at the Rene Martinez pickups, they're just like 50s Fender pickups. I had bluebirds from King Tone on my red guitar, on my red sewer, and they're the closest thing I've heard to like a Stevie Ray Vaughan pickup, and they're just like old Fenders. They're not like the Texas Specials that they make like overwound to drive your amp. It's not that they don't get something Stevie-ish, but it's just for people who, you know, can't afford all those old Fenders and nice tube screamers and all the stuff that goes with it. So it pushes things in a similar, like when you hook up to a normal amp, you get more in the ballpark of that sound without having to do all the bells and whistles that Stevie would, which is a crank tube amp with, like if you're playing like through a super reverb, you take the tubes out of like you take the position one tube out to get more compression, and then the two tube screamers. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that he had a guitar that had that, but most of his guitars were just stock pickups, 50s, and Rene Martinez, who was his guitar tech, made pickups for him, and you can buy those pickups from I think it's Mojo Tone, sells them, same design, same everything. They're just low output uh, Fenders, which makes sense. It's like an overwhelmed pickup increases the output in the same way that a boost pedal would, right? So, but Stevie Ray Vaughan used two tube screamers. So one of the tube screamers would basically load the amp or load the signal chain in the same way that that like a high, just in a different, like somebody just told me the other day, you're making stew and your brand of cumin uh, matters, but not that much. So it's kind of like that. He had an idea of the reactivity he wanted from the guitar, and to get that, you just need to push the signal. So, you can push it from the pickup, or you can push it from the thing right after the pickup, which is like your first pedal. So his first tube screamer was like gain all the way down, treble like tone pot pretty open, and just volume cranked, right? So what is that? That's just increasing output. It's the same thing as adding like 3 or 4K to your pickup. It's the same exact idea. So keep that in mind, right? It's like if you're just playing with a boost pedal and then hitting another overdrive pedal, like the second tube screamer in this chain would be the actual, like the stuff you hear on like right? It's like probably enjoying all that shit, like where it's like that buzzy kind of gain. That's that one, right? So it's like both of them together, but that first one was always open. So you never really hear Stevie plugged into the amp with nothing, right? When you're hearing Lenny, that's still that one tube screamer is always on. So the one it's just always giving you that reactive, overdriven sound, right? Um, Dude, that Victory amp you have, I got one. It's crazy. So many options and settings. Yeah, it's a cutie, that one. I don't use it that much. I should get back into it. Um, let's see. SRV had great tone, but is probably responsible for more bad tone than any other guitarist. Definitely responsible for more tendonitis than anybody I've heard of. Uh, good at all for fusion type of playing. Are EMGs good at all for any kind of fusion playing? Uh, you know, it's kind of like that Ibanez dilemma. Like RGs. It's like you plug RGs to, um, you know, through certain things. A lot of guitars are just basically glorified MIDI controllers, right? I think a lot of guitars are kind of like pedal controllers. Um, and like, Ibanez is a good example of a company who makes a lot of pedal controller guitars, where the guitar really doesn't have a characteristic, right? The clean sound, just like for me, when I hear it, I just hear the string, right? It's like I feel like if you replace that with just like a plank of wood with a string on it, it would sound the same way with no body. Um, or like a child's guitar, like a Squire. It's like it's just stringiness is the only quality I hear. I feel like EMGs do a similar thing when you're playing them clean. Like, the best test of a guitar is to just not plug it in. Just hear, like, there are a lot of Strats that sound like dog shit. It's like a Strat will pack all of its Stratiness unplugged, right? So it's like play guitars unplugged and see if they have a characteristic. I mean, I think for me, um, are some of the questions coming from people on Patreon? Yeah. And questions are coming from people on YouTube, which is mainly where I'm looking right now. So you can definitely follow us on YouTube if you're on Facebook looking at this, because that's where the party's at. So if you don't play acoustic a lot, you won't know what a good guitar is. That's because I didn't know what a good guitar is before, because you don't know what to look for. You're just not in tune with that, and that's okay. But I would say that it's frustrating to go into a guitar store if you don't. I remember going to a guitar store with my first guitar teacher, and he was like just taking stuff off the wall, listening to all this shit. To me, it looked like voodoo. And he's like, "This is a good one," and it wasn't. And he was full of shit. He was pretending, but I thought he knew, and I was always very like it was a good thing because it set in my mind that it was possible to choose good instruments, you know. Um, and for me, for years, I would just go and whatever was sort of set up well. I had like preferences in terms of like action and tension, and whenever like something was like the right action and the right tension, I'd like the guitar. And if I plugged it in and it also was sort of high output enough to like drive the amp to where I felt like the notes were popping out, then it was like, wow, that's a good guitar in hindsight. But a good guitar has some characteristic, a good electric guitar has some acoustic characteristic that is present, and enough gain and enough ambient effects will cover that eventually. So for me, the challenge, with fusion stuff, is you want to get everything to the place that's right before the characteristic that you like about your instrument disappears, and not cross that threshold. But it's super easy to start understanding what that characteristic is if you play a nice acoustic well and solo on it. Because I think a lot of people play acoustics, but they play chords. They never get to a place where they can play lines on an acoustic guitar. But there's a certain kind of I don't know. I don't have a better language for it. Like, it's an acoustic quality. It's a characteristic. It's something that is extra. It's like you learn to play the guitar. You learn how to make the notes not snap, not sound nasty. You learn how to make your attacks even. You learn how to use vibrato, like, that's not based on negative feedback. That's just kind of like the natural lifespan of the string after your attack. And Strats have a sound, Tellies have a sound, SGs have a sound, 335s have a sound. It's like those things are just, they have some sort of sonic thing carved out. Some luthiers come up with something that, like, again, it's as a player, it's more of like, once you mentally understand the phenomena that's happening as you play the acoustic, like the electric guitar acoustically, and you can kind of like make that happen in lots of areas of the neck and make that a part of your like linear playing, then when you plug it into an amp, it's just kind of like a simple question. Is it there or is it not there? If I dial back the gain, is it there or is it not there? So for me, when I'm playing like Ibanez's, like shitty metal Ibanez's or EMG guitars, it's never there, right? It's like there is a sound there when you're playing like high gain, like the Zach Wild stuff, and like the pinch harmonics, that's what it gives you, but that's never what I'm looking for. So that's a very long explanation of that. All right. What kind of strings are better and what size for fusion? I used to play 11s all the time, and then I got tired of. I love the tension. I love how it like feels to play fast with your right hand when you're picking a lot. Um, for me, tension on the string is a very positive thing because I do a lot of now I'm practicing more legato, but like my whole career, I played like a ton of, I picked a lot, and I love like from like getting used to like high tension guitars, like gypsy jazz guitars. It's you know, it's a real nice bouncing kind of feeling when you have higher tension on the string, but tens allow you to do a lot of bending and stuff like that easily. And after a while, it's just like, you know what, fuck it. I just want to. It's like this shit's hard enough. I just want to have a good time. So yeah, uh, tips to hone in one's rhythmic subdivision, rhythmic variation prowess. Just a lot of. If you want to really get into it, buy like a rudiment book, like Syncopation by Ted Ryder, I think is his name. It's free online. Just take one line a month and really get it into your playing, like a syncopated eighth note line. You know, how do you like Tyler? I like it a lot, but it was an emotional buy because my main sewer was stolen, and it's very like if I had to do it again, I probably would not spend the insane amount of money that these guitars cost because at the end of the day, it's a glorified Stratocaster. But what happened was I went to a store, a really specialty store that had tons of very high-end guitars, a lot of Sewers, and I played every guitar in the store that was in the ballpark of the guitar I had stolen, and yeah, this one was just a better instrument, which was a surprise to me because I thought for sure I'm buying a Sewer. But I just needed one. I was going on like Monsters of Rock cruise like 2 days after I had to get something that I just felt comfortable with, and I was very deeply like traumatized by it. And honestly, like I could have probably done with one of the guitars I had, but it just I don't know. I was dazed by that theft. Uh, so you're saying Ibanez is a glorified MIDI controller, and yeah, in so many words. I really like a 2K boost these days. 2K is literally the worst frequency to boost on guitar. It's that's where you want to cut, bro. That's the get your teeth cleaned frequency. That is pure treble. Um, let's see. Are you still doing a video with Alex, Brett, Thomas soloing over the same track utilizing Holdsworth and Caballari? Yeah, we're waiting for Ricardo and for Alex. And uh, Brett and Thomas already recorded, um, and yeah, they're both Holdsworthing pretty hard on it. It's yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit. Ricardo lessons are fire. I know, dude. That guy's so sick. I was, I his shit just makes me happy. Like the Holzer stuff makes me sad, but like his shit makes me happy. Because honestly, like I'm not, I'm not as I thought I was a pretty big Holdsworth fan, but after spending all this time with like Alex you know, and obviously like Brett and Thomas, I realized that like I like him. They love him. I just like him. I think he's real good. But like I don't listen to that shit. Like I go to I just won't. Like it's been years. Like I won't listen to it not to study it. Is what I realized. Like ever. Because it's just like I don't know. It's too much. But like I will listen to like Scott Henderson for fun. Uh, let's see. Was your sewer stolen? Uh, oh, dude, that sharp pentatonic is ill. It's so fucking good. Uh, and so yeah, that's a good one. My favorite thing from him that like really opened doors for me was doing the melodic minor a tritone away. That's I do that all the time now. And I was just like, it's like that fucking playing guitar all my life. Like you can do that, and he has good ideas. Like Brett has a lot of stuff that's just like so overwhelming. Like he explains like mode 10, the Messiaen thing, but like Ricardo just thinks about it like two pentatonic scales, tritone away, and I was just like, when he told me that, I was just like, what? So it's just like you're playing over an A minor chord, and you have A minor and E flat minor pentatonic, and that's a 10 note scale. None of the notes there repeat. Right? It's 5 notes. You have like A, C, D, E, G, and then in E flat you got E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, and D flat. So like all your whatever you make like a 10 note pattern. Like just like, whoa, right? So I'm an idiot. So it's like I really need people to break down things. Like I'm like a high functioning idiot. So like I need things told to me like 10,000 times, and then like in the 11,000, like if it's said like in a simple way, I'm just like, oh, I get it. But like when I get it, I get it. Um, hey, Fusion Music, how you doing? Um, so yeah, but yeah, Ricardo's badass. He's got he's got he's got the lines, man. He's got the goods. Also, like when you watch his videos of him practicing, he practices so well. Like like a lot of Brazilian dudes, I find like do this thing when they're practicing where they do a thing where they play the line, they sing the note names, and they as they sing the line, right? So it's like they'll go like A D E C E flat A flat B flat G flat G C D A, whatever the line is, and it just makes so much sense. Like because you're just attacking the problem from every direction, right? At the same time, like if you just play it, sing the note name, sing the pitch as you do it. It's like Michael Pipaquina is an amazing bassist from Brazil too. Like when he practices, he does the exact same shit. Ricardo, I don't know what it's like. I guess when you go to Carnival, they tell you that's what you should do. I don't know. I don't understand the connection between all of them and doing that. But it's like I saw that. I was just like, man, that seems to work. I don't do that because, like, where I practice is my studio, and Nick lives there, and it's embarrassing to scream note names. But I feel like if I ever had my own space, but yeah, congratulations from Brazil. I just love how people from South America say congratulations. I think it's like the same word as something, and it's just I've always loved that. We played in Colombia, and like we finished playing, and everybody's like, "Congratulations, congratulations!" Just like I love being congratulated. It's awesome. Never stop. Never stop congratulating. It's yeah, cool. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow night. My wife's abroad, so plus I have so much time for life. It's great. My daughter's asleep. Wife's abroad. Truly wonderful.